So February 9th, 1992, the day the world changed forever, because the world had never met me yet. Um, I weighed 1 pound and 15 ounces. I was raised for the first 3 months. I fought for my life um, in an incubator, and I was at times there were contentious moments that I wasn't people weren't sure if I was going to be able to make it. And so as time went on, and you know, I eventually got to come home, things I ultimately was raised to be like everybody else. Like all my siblings treated me the same. They didn't treat me any differently just because I had a disability. Okay. And that starts with my parents. That my mother specifically would push me and push me and push me and push me um to get the most out of me. There would be times when I would be sad about not being able to do certain things. And she would tell me that I need to um she would tell me, you know what, you can be sad in the moment, but in um later on, like you have to focus on what's positive, what you do have, and what um so I give her a lot of credit for that. And as I transitioned into high school, and now you can pull up the pictures, um I um I got to go on
Mhm.
a a, a rock climbing trip.
That's
Okay.
very awesome.
So um and I took part in a class called Journey. Okay. So essentially what it was a team building. It was a class designed to work on team building. Okay. And learning about yourselves, and learning about um um kind of just working together, and growing together. And so um I got to go on a trip in 2009 um to Teddigood State Park. It's in Minnesota. I had to go in front of the school board and um uh present to them. I don't know if you guys can see these pictures, but I had to go in front of the school board and present to them to get a piece of equipment to go on this trip. And that piece of equipment was called a trail rider. So what it is um it is a it is a like a chair that somebody would have to push from the front and push from the back, um so you could get around like rough terrain and rough um and I had to go to the school board to get them to advocate for why they should buy this piece of equipment. And so I was able to get them to advocate to buy this piece of equipment, and I was able to go on these trips. And then if you look at a couple more of the pictures there, if you can see them, there's two of them where I'm climbing a 200-foot cliff above Lake Superior. None of that would have been possible if it wasn't for getting that piece of equipment. And then so that's the story behind all that. And then this teacher who taught this class, his name was Kim. I respect him more than words can say. He taught me some real life experiences. I'm a big Packer fan, so he jokingly baptized me in the name of Bart Starr, Ray Nitschke, and Paul Herning in the middle of Lake Superior, as I'm bending down to feel the cold water. So he taught me some real life lessons. He taught me to never make anything about myself. Always give other people credit. Always, always. That's why whenever anybody wants to give me credit, I'm always quick to throw it right back. Because he taught me to never make myself the center of attention. And so I always carry that with me. I always try to never make it about myself. But and then yeah, that has led me to you know currently right now I'm talking to legislatures. I am I've taken part in the art of storytelling class. I have been to the SD conference, which I'm hoping to speak at in the near future. I have done so many wonderful things, so many focus groups, so many wonderful things. So I've only taken those skills that I already have and grown upon them. And so I just those are some of the life lessons. And that's all part of the it's all part of the story about your own personal story matters. And so it really all it boils down to is just keep advocating, keep pushing for what you believe in, keep following your dreams, keep and you will you'll have support. You'll have people in the background who silently cheer you on as you go, and you'll have people who try to knock you down too, but you can't let that get to you. So does anybody in particular have any questions?
No, but I can see you've done quite well learning how to tell your story from last year's class.
Yeah, right.
Hey, hey,
So
hey,
go ahead.
Sydney. Can you do you think you can make the pictures bigger and go through them so everyone can see what they
Yeah,
are?
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Because they're very
So
hard to see. I think I
Alright.
know what they are, but not everyone on here probably knows what
I'm
they are.
and
trying to
I
figure out how to
and
make
I
it
can
bigger.
explain them a little bit more if you guys if you don't know what they are. So I can some of them you might be able to tell, some of them you might not be able to.
Let's see. Is that a little better, Chad?
Nothing changed on my screen.
Oh,
Can can I
I
can
was
somebody
wondering if you could just open them and so they come up
can we
bigger.
click into them?
yeah, I try to do that and it zooms in too much, I think. Let me stop sharing and see if I can make it super big.
Your screen might have screen share might have froze. Maybe.
Yeah, hang on.
So yeah, I'll go into a little bit more detail about what the pictures are if we can get them bigger.
Can you be so kind as to fill me in? I joined 4 minutes into it.
Okay, so it's just my advocacy journey, Larry. It's about how you basically never give up, and how you basically um keep fighting for what you believe in. And I was talking about how going through high school I went on a rock climbing trip, and how that helped shape my advocacy journey and where I'm at today. And then I was also talking about some things that I'm currently doing now.
It's also being recorded so you can watch it later.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. There we
Okay.
go. That's better. That's better.
So this is a picture from Devil's Lake. This was quite a few years ago. And my sister actually helped me rappel down the rocks so that I could actually touch the rocks. We have a chair that they use at Boulder's Climbing Gym East. However, I don't like the chair, and I don't like the chair because I always like to feel like I'm touching the rocks, and I'm actually working. I'm actually working to climb. So this is not that I personally have anything against the chair. It's my personal preference. You can flip the picture.
Yeah.
Double
There
Lake
we go.
isn't the most accessible. But
What kind of a
So
chair
this
is it?
this is a walking stick that I was given on the trip to Teteguch. Now it's a little bit of an oxymoron because I don't walk. However, I was given this on the trip, and I still have it. It sits in the corner right where that's literally where I took the picture. But basically what we did was we took that stick and we passed it around, and we shared what we were thankful for. We called it attitude of gratitude. So there were tears shed on that stick. There was laughter shed on that stick. There was, and so I keep it, and I cherish it forever because it will always hold a special place in hold a special place.
Oops.
So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
You can
Oh,
flip
it's
it.
so touchy.
So this is the trail rider that I was speaking of. You see how there's somebody in the back and somebody in the front? So you're strapped in there. So you you have no control over what, and it just helps you go through the woods, and it helps you. But that's something I had to advocate for, because they did not have that before I presented at the school board and told the school board why they needed to get the piece of equipment. Go ahead.
If I'm understanding this right, somebody you traversed through with the help of 2 other people, right?
I went I I went on this trip, and part of me going on this trip was that I had to get some people that were ready to help me on this trip. They had to help me go to the bathroom, they had to help me eat, they had to help me with everything pretty much. Because I couldn't, because this was all but I got a couple people that were willing to do it, and we made it. There was like 3 people, and we made it work. And so this is a picture of me climbing the 200-foot cliff above Lake Superior. And I believe the little net there was to help me try to climb and try to, work with the rocks that were available to me. But it was pretty hard to do. But I did it, and that's all that matters. This just another one. Kind of the same thing. And then this one is just, that was my chair at the time, and then we're getting ready to transfer into that trailer, which I had to use 90% of the time to go anywhere. Because anytime we had to go up the trail, that's what we had to use. And as I said, I've gone on to do lots of different things now with from the art of storytelling class to the I'm the vice president for the Wildlife Board of Directors. I volunteered for the UW Health. I'm a power of attorney witness for them. And so I keep growing my skills and keep learning new things and I stay pretty busy and pretty active.
Brad, sorry,
Ramsey,
there's a couple
Ramsey,
people that have questions.
Ramsey, I was gonna say, I see you have your hand up.
Hey, Beth, thanks for your determination. My technology kicking me out, so I'm sorry I missed the first part of your presentation, but thanks for your determination. How do you get the energy to do all this stuff? Because that seems like an awful lot to be something like that. How do you get the energy and the resilience to do that? And what would be your best advice to other advocates? Because I'm trying to be the best advocate I know how, and trying to be helpful to others, but oh my gosh, your determination is wonderful.
Well, first of all, it all started with the people that I had basically telling me that I could achieve anything I wanted to. And so then it started like I enjoy rock climbing a lot, and I was told one day in school, we're not gonna get you to Devil's Lake because it's not very accessible. But if you work hard at it and you can get this piece of equipment right here, that I would get taken on this trip. Additionally, I had to uh find people that would be willing to help me. And so I just kept kind of talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. And because I really, 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 really wanted to go. And I would not. I was the one that did all the work for them to get it's called a trail rider. And I was the one that did all the work for them to get that. I busted that barrier down so that people could so that other people could go as well as myself. And they gave me the high school gave me the tools that I needed to get that. I had to do all the research and all the things, and if I had questions, I would ask, of course. But it 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 wasn't that easy to put together because I had to find out where to get the piece of equipment as well as find the people willing to help. But the more and more I kept talking about it, and the more and more I these people used to help me climb all the time, and so they'd help me put the harness on, and they'd help me with all kinds of things, and so it by the time the trip came along, they were more than willing to help, whether I had to get up in the middle of the night or not. They were there.
That's wonderful. What advice would you give to other advocates that wanna accomplish similar things? Cause I'm
My
kind
advice
of
my advice to other advocates would be anything's possible. Don't ever settle for things. Chase weird dreams, chase what you believe in. If you believe and it's something that is something that you talk to other advocates and you have support for, then my advice to other advocates would be to chase your dreams. Um, Anything's possible. I don't need the odds of something. Just tell me it's impossible and watch me make it happen.
yeah. Go Bless, go Bless, go. I love that attitude. Thank you, buddy.
Yes. Chad, did I see your hands up?
I can't unmute this thing. I was just gonna tell Ramsey that this is being recorded. So you can watch the first half, Rams.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, I think, on the People First YouTube channel or something, Sydney.
Yep. I'll have to get it to Sarah pretty quickly so she can work on it for you guys.
Just a quick question, but you know those 6 pictures, is it possible to share them in a different way? Because I like them. I like those pictures. I've never seen these devices, but I'm pretty interested.
I mean, I can send them to you individually if Red's okay with that. I just
Yeah,
can't
I
make
mean,
them
I
any
was
bigger.
just curious because it's kind of hard for me to see right now because I got my glasses on. So
You can send them, yes.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty amazed. I've seen like this like adaptive sailing is, where you get help and you can experience it even if you can't actively climb, if you know what I mean by that. it's a
Yeah.
way of actually participating, which is rather and being included. I like it. I like to see that.
That was a um it's a special time in my life, and I can never repay the people enough that
Yeah.
helped make it happen.
Coordinating the supports. You said your high school helped you do that, or I can't
Yep.
remember. Okay,
Yep.
great. I think that's
Yep.
wonderful that you get to participate. I think that's just wonderful. I've never seen this piece of equipment before.
Mm-hmm.
Be honest with you.
Um,
I've been in a wheelchair pretty much all my life.
it's a, it's a, they're out there. I believe they got it from Vancouver, British Columbia. Um, so they are out there and they are available if
Hmm.
people want to check them out. If people want to,
Do they
but
lease
that's
these things so you don't have to store this in your place of residence?
that I don't know.
Yeah, because I'd have trouble if I had one device for everything I wanted to participate in and have room in my apartment for all this or my locker.
That I don't know. But it's really a piece of equipment that'll help you get through like different trails and different things. And
Oh,
you're essentially strapped in. You're strapped into it. So like that other picture where I was laying, that where it kind of looked like I was laying down. I'm strapped into the chair, so I'm not going anywhere. And there's
so you're not pushing it or controlling the device. You're
no,
just
you can't.
strapped in it.
No, you can't. I'm just in there. It's the other
Oh,
people.
so you're
It's the
strapped in, you're
other
strapped in there.
it's the other people that are in the front and the back that control the device.
Oh, and you just
I just
passively,
ride.
you participate and enjoy the ride. Okay,
Yep.
awesome.
Chad, your hand still up?
Sorry, I didn't take it down. Sorry.
It's okay. But yeah, Brett and I will be teaching the art of storytelling class together. I think in the spring. So if you want to be able to tell your story like Brett did, um, yeah, I don't have sign up information yet. It's a little ways away.
I just don't ever give up on your dreams. Anything's possible. And no matter what disability you have, somebody's always got it worse. So make sure you spread a smile, make sure you spread joy, and make sure you spread, you know, make sure you're happy because um that
Absolutely, but I love that attitude, and you keep going with what you're doing because you you'll be great for the physical disability council. Just a hint, yeah, you'll be wonderful.
yeah. My plate's pretty full as it is, but I keep busy and keep going. So I was absolutely looking forward to being on here, and I hope that this transitions into the speaker series where the self-determination conference where I could tell my story. And have I'm used to speaking to a couple people, not a group like this, but just get myself
So
out there.
I think you'll be a wonderful speaker for the self-determination conference. So let's see if we can make that happen next year, but
We're working on it. We're working on it.
thanks.
Yep. Anybody else have questions?
I don't know if Chad still has his hand up or
He still has.
I put it back up.
What do you
I
need?
just want to say thank you for sharing your story. I think it's really valuable for a lot of people that are learning things about advocacy. And I'm so humbled by your story and your journey. And it helps me like try to be a better advocate for myself. Because I didn't have the same advocacy upbringing from my family, but I'm learning through the help of you and all my advocate friends. So I just appreciate it.
You're welcome. Anytime I can share, because there's bits and pieces. Like I tell parts of the story, but I've never gotten the whole thing. I've never gotten the whole story out, and yeah, it all goes back to how I was raised / the people you have around you, the friends you have around you, the 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 good people who are willing to show you some guidance as you go.
Hey, Brett. I have
What?
one more thing I can suggest that you can mention really quick because it relates to so many other people on here. Not to tell your story for you, but I know you had told me that you had an issue with one of your wheelchairs and insurance not wanting to cover something
Oh God.
that you needed on your wheelchair. I just thought it
Oh,
would have been a good part
yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
relatable.
So this is still back in high school. And so this was my first wheelchair that I ever owned. And my first power wheelchair, I should say. And they did not want to. We live in the woods. We live in northern Wisconsin. So there's lots of trails. There's lots of wooded areas. There's lots of. We don't have nice cushy sidewalks. We don't have. And they wanted me. They didn't want to put torque control, which would help me get through like the woods and like different rough terrain areas in the chair. Well, 24 hours before, and they wouldn't put it in, they wouldn't put it in. And my mom had threatened to take him to court. So 24 hours before they were supposed to go to court, they reversed their decision and they decided to put it in. But it was a necessity in the function of the chair at the time that I needed in order to get around the area I was living in. What's up, Rams? I see you have your hand up.
I forgot to put it down. Sorry, but thank you
That's
for
right.
that. Thank that advice. I take it because I had something similar go on with myself. We got it squared away, but it was not.
Did
It
you
was not.
What's up, where?
did you say insurance was giving you a heck on a power chair based on where you live and what you needed to get around?
No, No, I had the chair. They just didn't want to put in a specific feature that I needed
What
because
was it?
of it was called torque control, which would have,
Um,
and now it's pretty much a standard feature. But at the time it was not. And they didn't want to put it in because they thought it was a luxury item. And living in northern Wisconsin with wooded areas and different things like that, you kind of need that to be able to get through like any
yeah.
rough terrain. And yeah, so they were giving me heck
Mm,
on that.
very similar to what I'm experiencing, not only in a wheelchair, but with my diabetic control and a device that would help me out with my limitations in vision. They thought it was a luxury item, but actually it would help me be independent, taking care of myself. Very similar parallel. And so you're right. You have to fight for what you believe in, or
Mhm.
the insurance and the, what do you call it, status quo and formularies will take you down if you let it.
No means no. Until
Yeah.
it was one thing I learned from the self-determination conference, no means no until it's a yes.
Yes. And you're the only one. If you don't toot your own horn, no one else will. And I've learned that in life.
Yep.
Self-advocacy is a never-ending journey, and you can count on it. You will get many more challenges along your way. I can
Yep.
guarantee you that, Brett. You know, and it's a good quality to have. Hats off to you.
Mm-hmm. So it's just it never ends. On 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 Friday when I was going somewhere, they Metro sent the wrong vehicle to pick because I had a +1 going to the going with me, and Metro sent the wrong vehicle um to go to come get us. So I had to call them and let them know, hey, yeah. So there's advocacy all over the place. Still, even like, yeah.
Ironically, it was me.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're pretty bold doing that because him and I have a rapport with Metro that goes back a couple of years because of discriminatory related issues when trying to utilize the bus. Now, when they redid the bus system, I'll just say this real quick. When they redid the bus system, they tell everybody, well, just take paratransit if you're in a wheelchair. Well, now everybody's taking paratransit and there's issues arising because paratransit is overbooked. So now, that's frustrating for him and I who needed to be somewhere and we got there, but it was a lot of advocacy.
I'll be writing a letter about that actually here um soon.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure I'm gonna make sure that that doesn't happen again.
There's the whole reason why you do that anyway, because the, the whole point of telling them is so they can be prepared with the correct vehicle. So, but anywho, that's just another thing to put in there.
I think it's ironic, folks, how one hand doesn't know what the other one's doing. In Milwaukee, Transit Plus wants you to use the bus as much as necessary. Okay, ching ching, fine. You know, it's just that when you do use a bus, they said the same thing. Well, shouldn't you be riding transit? You're in a wheelchair, you know, and self-advocacy meant we had to toot our horns and say, no, that's not even morally right. Transit Plus was never meant as a takeover just because you use a wheelchair. You're supposed to help yourself and help make it more accessible. Granted, the bus isn't a cure-all, but when Transit Plus takes over is when you've tried things and they don't work for whatever reason. Maybe then, but back and forth. Yeah, I've heard people on this call talk about, oh, transit didn't send the right vehicle, and then somebody talking about the bus using transit, and they're going back and forth who does what. And part of self-advocacy means you use what you can when you can, and you toot your horn. You don't just give up. You, man, what can I say? It's a never-ending journey. Me and Mark know about that. We know about that. We can relate. I just thought I'd drop that in. Mark, do you want to drop something in? I don't know if this is picking you up. I don't know if my mic is picking him up in the background. Mark, do you want to say something real quick? Can you hear him?
A little bit.
Now,
Can you hear him now?
never give up, and raise.
Oh, he's repeating that poem by Dylan Thomas. Rage Against the Dying of the Light, but don't go softly into that good night. So
Adapt for the fathers.
he brought up Adapt would fight this. If I don't know how many of you are familiar with that organization.
I've never heard of it, but
they are Americans with Disabilities for Attendant Care Programs today. They're more activists, meaning they actually go and after writing legislators doesn't work, they'll actually show up at what they call national and local actions, if you know what I mean by that terminology, and tell their stories in person, you know? And the difference between adapt and organized activities is they'll stay there even if they ask you to leave and say, no, we came here to tell our story, that kind of thing. They're a little bit more active, as well as you would say. That's why they call it activist, I guess. So what else, Mark, real quick?
Yeah. And one more thing. When we went through that, whatever that was, that one place over there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And that one person there.
He's trying to describe something.
The mother that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
revoking
man.
Medicaid funding for attendant help, and her daughter had like a couple dozen seizures a day. We just graduated from Partners in Policy.
Unmute yourself, press star.
So, you know, that's what motivated him to get more involved in self-advocacy.
So that really brought the fire.
That brought the fire out in him to even more self-advocate. Adapt is an opportunity for people to get more directly involved at the scene, so to speak.
what about Stacy? Does she have anything she wants to add? I know she's got her her voice thing that she uses, but
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, it's not. It looks like it's blinding me. I think Ramsey has his hand up, maybe.
Ramsey, do you?
I'm pretty sure it's stuck up at this point.
Oh,
It sounded like he was on the phone or something.
oh, okay.
He muted him. Okay.
I just lowered it.
Anybody have any additional questions, comments?
You've been muted. To unmute yourself, press
Ramsey's on the
Six.
phone. He's trying to speak and he's having
Yeah.
trouble with the commands.
Yeah.
Oh, there he
This
is.
is very, I have one more question, but would it be okay if I send you an email? Cause I have one more question, but I don't know if yeah.
Would it be
okay
would it
if
be
I
would it be okay if what?
If he sends you an email, I think is what he's working on.
yeah.
I think he wants to converse with you offline via email.
That's fine. What I'm not sure what additional question you have, but that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, Sydney, if you could forward me, but email.
Yeah,
that'd be
I can let you know
wonderful.
Brett's email. As long as he's cool with it, I'll.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. Bye.
You're welcome.